What's up, YouTube? This is John from Team RynOke. I'm going to bring you a deck profile today. This is going to be our first deck profile for the team. We're going to go over Madolches. The sexiness. Here at Team RynOke, we're going to try to bring you a bunch of different deck profiles. And with that, we're going to try to continually and regularly update them, let you know what we're doing to the deck, what might be working, what might not be working. You know, just try to see what we can get out there and see if we can get some feedback from y'all. Let us know what you think, man. I'm always going to be curious what y'all's opinions are. I know my teammates will be too. Today, though, like I said, we're going to go over Madolches. So, let's start with the monsters. Now, this is a rough draft. I've already got some things in mind I'm going to change. Some things I think will work better. So, some things in here that I think just aren't working quite as well as I was hoping. We're going to start off, and you're going to play, let's do this in a little bit different order than what I have them in, Triple U-Fuel. I probably butchered that name. That's what I do down here. I butcher names. So this is the little cat, pretty cute. Like all Madolche monsters, just about when Madolche monsters are destroyed by opponent's card effects or by battle, they go to the graveyard, and they will return to the deck. It's a pretty hard deck to, make it deck out, but so, what this one does, it's basically the Marauding Captain of the deck. You're going to special it, and then it's going to let you special summon any Madolche monster from your hand. Great card. I actually run 3 of them. I have my playset right here. I use. I've heard of people running 2 and less, 2 and 1. I don't see why 3. It's just, you want this card. I don't want to say you need it, but you need it. So, next up, I run Triple Hootcake. Now, Hootcake, let me get this in front of the camera, is not a common card like its first part that I just showed you, Meow. This is actually super. Hootcake is our owl of the deck, and what happens is you can banish any monster from the graveyard to special summon any Madolche monster from your deck to the field. Great card. I currently run 3, but I'm probably going to drop that down to 2. My locals for the past 2 weeks, I've been noticing that he's real cloggy, or dead in the hand, I guess. Dead in the hand's more like it. I can't say I never need him, but dead in the hand sometimes I may not have the monster in the graveyard. I mean, it could be something better out there. I'm probably going to swap him out for 1 Redox, just because Redox is a monster reborn. This whole deck is Earth. Redox is Earth, so I'm going to maybe try it out, see how it works out. So, it's no guarantees on that one. Next up, we're going to look at the Stratos of the deck. Madolche Madolche. Man, she's pretty cute with that big fork in her hands. Makes me want to get diabetes just to see her. She's the Stratos of the deck, self-explanatory. But you're going to summon her. You're going to search your deck for any Madolche monster, bring it straight to your hand. And like Hootcake, she is super rare. So, now the next one should have been some form of rarity, but they made him just rare, so I was a little sad about that. I cry on the inside a little bit. Madolche Messengelato. So, let's get that in there. Just silver, very depressing. He's the searcher of the deck as far as spells and traps are concerned. Anytime he's special summoned, as long as you have a Madolche beast-type monster on the field, you can search your deck for any spell or trap, Madolche spell or trap, and bring it to your hand. I run 3 of him. He is amazing. Alright, next up, we're going to do hand traps. I run double Max C. It's Max C, it's self-explanatory. I run double Veiler. Once again, it's Effect Veiler. I shouldn't have to explain this stuff. If you're not sure what they do, guys, I'm not going to explain it. Just Google it. You can Google anything. Next up, now these are cards that are going to be changed. I run double Spell Striker. Great card. Currently going to bump it down to 1. I'm just waiting on my TG Warwolves to show up. But currently going to bump this down to 1. But the reason I run these, just faster Exceed spamming for Invoker, for your Queen and Invoker plays. Helps with the OTK, but that's why I'm keeping 1 of them in there. And I'm going to run double TG Warwolf. For those of you who don't know, TG Warwolf, whenever a monster is special summoned, you can chain this effect from your hand to special summon him also. Next up, right now, I'm actually maining double Fossil Dyna. If you don't know what this does, when it's face up on the field, neither player can special summon. But when it's flipped, you just destroy all special summon monsters. So, pretty awesome card. I'll actually be, changing these out too. These are actually going to hit my sideboard. So, what I didn't go over is one Madolche monster I don't have. I didn't pick it up. I didn't think I would need it. It's the other Earth Warrior monster that they have. Madolche Choxvalier. I'm probably butchering his name. That's what I do. I butcher names. When he's out on the field, he just says, you can't attack any other Madolche monster but me. Really, I don't want him so much for his effect. Obviously, if I'm bringing him out, I'm not worried about you attacking. He's just that extra target for the Invoker plays, extra target for ticket plays, and I'll go over those as I get to it. We'll go over with the OTK that he could or could not be used for. We'll discuss that here in a little bit. But that is the other monster that I don't have, that I want to put in there. He's 1700 with the field spell. He's 22. So he's your beater, too. Next up, we're going to go over spells. Spells. Once again, like I said, everything in this deck is subject to change. I would love for your opinions. Just tell me what you think I could do differently, what you think might work. That's what I'm going to be doing for y'all, is bringing videos to y'all that will show that. I apologize for the coughing in my voice. Getting over whatever I got for a couple days. So, first up, we're going to run double Chateau. Madolche Chateau. This is your field spell. This card is amazing and almost broke, but even more broke when it has its counterpart out, Madolche Ticket. So what this says is, when you play it, all Madolche monsters in your graveyard are going to return to their decks. So if you have Queen in the graveyard, God forbid, or anything else in the graveyard, Madolche, it's going to return to the deck. Now, what this says is anytime a Madolche monster effect, I believe it's Madolche monster effect. If a monster in your graveyard would be turned to the deck by effect of a Madolche monster. So, any monster returned to the deck from the graveyard by a Madolche effect is going to go to your hand now instead. Unfortunately, Queen Tiramisu doesn't target hand traps, or I would abuse it even worse than I do. But still, you can set something just to play a little defensive if you have to. They'll attack it. It's just going to come right back to your hand. They'll let you set up those plays again. Next up is Ticket, the other counterpart to the field spell that makes the little combo broken. What this says is anytime... Oh, and I forgot to tell you all, the field spell boosts attack and defense of all Madolche monsters. So if you ever play the Mirror, this is going to affect them just like it will affect you, just for the attack boost. I believe that's right. Yeah. Ooh, man, don't want to get quoted for doing something wrong. Madolche Ticket. Once per turn, if a card would go from the field to or graveyard to the hand or deck, you get to search out, I believe it's just Madolche. Yeah. Oh, it's Madolche cards at that, so it doesn't have to be the monster. See, I learn something new every day. Anytime the Madolche card is returned from the field or graveyard to the hand or deck, you get to search out any Madolche monster and pull it to your hand. Except for if you have a fairy out, Queen Tiramisu, you get to pull it to the field instead. So that's what Choxvalier's in there for, just in case I need that beater. I don't have all my Messengelados in the deck, or any of them at that point, God forbid. That's what that's for. And the reason I say this is broke is just about every monster that I run in this deck, on my main deck, except for the Choxvalier and the Messengelado, are under 1500. I got deck devied this week. I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do? And then I realized that it destroys everything in the hand. It reveals in the hand and destroys. So they hit the graveyard, they come right back to the hand. They come right back to the hand from the graveyard. Ticket kicks in. Oh, I get to add, not draw. So Deck Devi's not going to hit that. I get to add any Madolche from my deck to my hand. I was like, wow, this actually helps me. So I would draw into a monster, Deck Devi, come back to my hand. So it did slow my OTK down a little bit, but, you know, at that point, he Deck Devi'd me, so I was like, fuck, I survived it. Next up, I run one Insta-Fusion. Only one, it's just there. Right now I run Double Spell Striker, so this is the third way to help get that OTK off. It'll actually be the number 4 way once I get my Warwolves. Pay 1,000 life points, special summon one fusion monster from your deck. Self-explanatory. Insta-fusion. Next up, I run one Book of Moon. It's a quick play. They do something you don't like, just flip that shit down. Screw their monster. Self-explanatory. Next up, I run triple MST. It's back row hate. We do not have heavy storm, which I guess is a good thing. Sometimes it may be a bad. It just depends on how your opponent opens up. If he opens up with 5 back row, maybe not the best situation without heavy. But triple MST, gotta hate on that back row. Next up, reinforcements of the army. Really, this is mainly in my deck for my Spell Striker. I really never need my Messengelado to come to my hand. I always want him in the deck. Once I get my Werewolves, this will be pretty much for my Spell Striker. And I'm only running one Spell Striker in the build I'm thinking about doing and testing out online. Because of this, though, I may run that second Spell Striker. I ran into a situation online where I was like, man, this was just dead in my hand. So instead, I just kind of set it, and I kind of bluffed my opponent the next turn. So don't always be afraid, I guess, of all face downs. Next up, 2 Dose, Pot of Dualities. Yeah, it does stop you from special summoning, so obviously if you're going to start special summoning a lot that turn, don't want to do that. But if you get to go first, like my favorite opening move is Madolche. Stratos a monster out of my deck, thin it down some, shuffle, then Pot of Duality to get another card, thin it down some more. Just helps with consistency. So that's it for the spells. Next up, we got the traps. Traps. So one card that nobody, I guess, really paid attention to. Oh, by the way, guys, that was 20 monsters. That was 12 spells. This is going to be 8 traps. So, one card that nobody paid attention to at all at my locals the past week has been Madolche Palooza. Look at that beautiful card. It's like diabetes heaven right there. So what this does is special summon any number of Madolche monsters from your hand, but shuffle them into the deck during the end phase. And it's a trap. That is amazing. Saved my ass 2 ways, actually. One, obviously stopped them from attacking me directly. And I mean, with this deck, you don't have to worry about your monsters being destroyed, because obviously they're not going to the graveyard. But people can't read, apparently, and didn't want to just wait it out. You could have just waited it out. They would have gone to the graveyard, or gone to the deck. I would have got 1+ off my ticket, but that would have been 1 monster and me praying I drew something on my next draw. Instead, they attacked into 3 monsters, dealt a little bit of damage to me with their last monster, so I still got to go. Then I got my turn out, and I just sent everything back and won it. So definitely the MVP for me for the week, just for this week. But has saved my ass. I was happy I got this card. Really don't see you needing more than 1. Multiple reasons. 1, it is searchable via Messengelado, because it's a spell or trap. And 2, Queen Tiramisu can send this right back to the deck in case you're ever going to need it again. I do recycle my fields a lot more with Queen, but I have recycled this before, and I got the plus off ticket because ticket just says Madolche card. So, amazing card. Okay, next up, we've got Double Fiendish Chain. Once again, just like Effect Veiler, self-explanatory. I'm not going over cards that have been out for a while or may have not been covered. Everybody runs this shit. Next up, Bottomless Trap Hole, same thing. Compulse, Solemn Warning. Bam. Then, what I personally am taking in here a lot in a lot of my decks, I think it's amazing. It's going to be amazing, this format, for multiple reasons. 7 Tools of the Bandit. Oh no, it pay 1,000 life points. That's okay. It's a counter trap. It's spell speed 3. Unless they have another counter trap, it is going to end that chain link. Now, I say that, but I was at a local about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago with my Evil Swarms. I attacked into Mirror Force, the first duel, and he's like, oh, fucking Mirror Force. I'm like, Pandemic, and he got me with the second Mirror Force. I was like, you asshole. Well, the next duel, because I got him the next 2 times, was because of this. I'd attack into that, And he'd be like, Mirror Force. I'd be like, 7 tools. He'd be like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm like, you can't. The chain is done, sir. Only counter traps can chain to counter traps. Amazing. MVP overall probably for this format for back row will probably be 7 tools. So, that's my deck. We're going to go over my side deck, and I'll briefly go over extra deck, I'm going to go over my extra deck, and then we'll briefly go over my side deck, but my side deck will be changing quite a bit, mostly just because my side deck is built for my locals, what I go to, where I know people, what I know is going to screw me over. So, to start off with, for my extra deck, I run 1 Cherubin. Yeah, don't want to mispronounce that one. Cherubin, there's a throwback. The Fire Knight. His only reason and purpose in there is for, you guessed it, Insta-Fusion. He is literally only there to make an OTK possible and to help with my Invoker plays. Still a good card. Speaking of Invoker, you run 2, count them, 2 dose, 2 Invokers. Now, before I was building this deck, I was looking up a bunch of stuff about it because it really had me interested. I never run into these at my locals. I like to be a little different. Everybody plays spellbooks. A lot of Constellars out there right now and Bujins. There was a lot of Dragon players. Thank God that deck is dead. Somebody will figure out how to make it work. 4 dragons. You only have 4. 1 of each. They'll make it work. But everybody's like, oh, you only need 1 Invoker. 1 Invoker. That is stupid. This thing is 1600 attack, which means it's a target for Bottomless. This thing is a target for Solemn. Everybody just about knows what this card does, and it is dirty, and they will try to do it dirty. So 2. I would say 3, but what I'm finding out is at that point, if I have to go into a 3rd Invoker, I've already lost the duel, or I'm out of resources, and if I really could go into a 3rd Invoker and still win, my opponent just sucks. That's what I'm noticing. So I only run 2. So that's it. That's that. Then I run Zen Mains. Zen Mains is pretty awesome, but I'm waiting on my Fortune Tune to show up. Won't be the replacement for him, but probably will be what I go into more. I'm not going to go over what Fortune Tune does, guys. You can do that on your own time. I don't have it. I don't know how often I'll actually go into it, but it will be in there with Zen Mains. Then 1 Leviathan Dragon. It's a rank 3 beater. If you have nothing else to play, look it up. Everybody should know what this does by now. Leviar. Same thing. Everybody should know what it does, but it has saved me a couple times so far. I'll banish a Messenger Gelato instead with my Hoot Cake, then bring out Leviar, bring him back, so then I have my double Messenger Gelatos. BAM! That's it for the rank 3 exceeds. Next up we have our rank 4s, and I run 2, that's right, 2, just like Invoker, 2 Queen Tiramisus, just like Invoker. At that point, if you're going into a 3rd, something's not right. You're not doing something right, or you're just getting stomped. You might pull it out. I'm sitting here saying that you shouldn't have to use more than 2, but I have used multiple copies. But my opponent just was trying to stall me out. I guess if you're going to try to stall this deck out, it's not a great idea. Our monsters aren't going to go away forever. So what she does is broken. Amazing rank 4. So, you don't even... Keep in mind, for you to activate her effect, you don't need anything on your opponent's side of the field. You can just activate it and start returning stuff and getting pluses. But when your opponent has stuff, I guess that's when you get the full benefit. So, once per turn, only on your turn, thank God. Even I say thank God you can't do it on your opponent's turn. That would be too broken, Pallades. You detach a material. Now, you have to have a Madolche card, guys, not monster. Any Madolche card. That means the field, ticket, or Palooza are all targets for this also. You have to have 1 target in the graveyard at least just to activate this. You detach, send it to the graveyard, then you can target that you just detached. You already had the initial target. It's just like Zombie Master. Detach, you can do up to 2 Madolche cards in your graveyard and return them to your deck, or if you have the field spell and take it out, your hand. And then with ticket, you plus off any of them going back to the deck or hand, special summon. That's where the Messenger Gelato or Chalk's Valier would come into play. So you'll do that, and then she does not target opponent cards, but she will send up to 2, only up to 2. It's how many ever you return you get to return of theirs, up to 2. So you return 2 of their cards back to the deck. Whether that be the extra decks, whatever. So, pretty good. She's going to be a 2700 beater with the field spell out. I don't know what else I can say except for I don't want to say broken because Fate is broken, but either your opponent has to have a response to her summon, or very soon, once you pick what they're returning, they can't chain to it. That's the resolution of her effect. By you returning stuff to their deck, that is the resolution of her effect. Now, I say that and I stress that because I misplayed on my part because I didn't catch them. I was playing a Dark World player. I guess a Dark Creator Turbo build, but it was Dark World basically. And I would go to send back his back row, and he'd be like, chain. Well, I didn't catch it because I didn't understand at the time that just like Fate, because I know how Fate works. I've had Fate fuck me in the ass. Just like Fate, you have to chain before I pick my targets. Pick her, whatever. You have to chain something to the very start of her effect before anything's been targeted. So once I've targeted and start sending your stuff back, you cannot chain. That is the end of the resolution, or the resolution of the effect. Y'all know what I mean. Next up, Black Ship of Corn, self-explanatory. Utopia, self-explanatory. Most of these rank 4s I'm showing you, I never use. Cowboy, because he's ga-ga-ga. Maystroke, self-explanatory. Diamond Direwolf, probably coming out of the deck for my Fortune Tune, because, let's face it, he's not really a 1-for-1. If you think about it, you have to use 2 monsters to get him, then you have to pop him, and probably him only. Yeah, I guess I could pop like a Hoot Cake or something and keep this 2000 beater out, but quite frankly, I'd rather have my 2000 Hoot Cake that I know is going to come back to my hand when my opponent destroys it. So, probably going out of the deck, in fact, most likely going out of the deck. Too situational for any of the decks I play, but definitely didn't go out of the deck for my Fortune Tune. The little chicken. Fairy King Albarak, because it's actually the last Exceed I run. He's an Earth monster, so fits that little thing. But detach 1 material, all Earth monsters currently on the field, lose 500 attack and defense. I think I've used him once just to beat over something and to lower something's attack, but nothing I can say about him that was impressive for me. Because once again, I have Queen, I have Invoker. Those are my plays. Last but not least, this card actually did help me beat a Bujin player, because it's Catastor. He's Catastrophe. I had a banished, Effect Veiler, and I brought out, I couldn't really get my Messengelados out anymore. He just kept exhausting my stuff with Veilers and shit like that. So, I Leviard, I brought back my, let me phrase that. I had Hoot Cake, I had Meow, Hoot Cake, banished, brought out my last Messengelato. That was all I could get out. I couldn't invoke her again. So I Leviard, I brought back a Effect Veiler I had banished earlier, and I guess really I could have brought out another Messengelato if I thought to use that with Hoot Cake's effect, but I didn't at the time. I was just pretty excited, had the deck up and running. So I made Catastor, and I just ran straight into his monster and was like, bye-bye. So, just a great card. I might throw some different things in here just for that rare occasion I might see a fucking Exceed Encore. So once again, this is going to be my side deck. Now, this is just really based off what I see in my locals. Let's try to do this on some shock factor. So I do side in 1 Dust Tornado. This is actually going to go up to 2. Just extra back row hate, man. You can never be too careful. They could have 5 back row out. So Dust Tornado. Self-explanatory will be up to 2. Right now I'm siding in my D Prisons. Not gonna side them. Really don't need them. I don't worry about being attacked too much. But right now, still in the test phases of my deck, I do side them in from time to time. Man, this one has a different sleeve. Need to fix that. Mirror Force. Once again, I'm never too worried about being attacked. My stuff comes back. May find a way to put this in there. Maybe put an occasional Deepris in there, but Yeah, Mirror Force. Let's see. 2 Shadow, or sorry, this is Light Imprisoning Mirrors. I'm actually waiting to get my Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors from my buddy, from my teammate. But Light Imprisoning Mirror, like I said, I'm seeing a lot of Constellars, a lot of Boojans, a lot of Noble Knights. Now those last 2 I don't see being a huge threat in this format. Noble Knights, maybe. They're still getting support. Konami's pretty high on them. They're giving them a lot of support, a lot of TCG exclusives. Same with Boojans. Boojans are still getting support. They've been getting them. I think this is going to be the 3rd pack coming up with Legacy, and I think they're still getting more in Primal. So we'll see how that works out. But as of right now, I'm not too worried about those. That's mainly for Constellar decks. Constellar decks, I feel, are going to be one of the top tier decks this format. I feel they are going to dominate it. There's a lot of dirty plays they can do. I play Evil Swarm also, and they're just an Evil Swarm. Well, Evil Swarm is basically them, but their monster effects are better. So, next up, I side in 2 Breakthrough Skills. Gotta hate on that effects, man. Gotta hate on them. Plus, it'll help in the mirror match. Very easy way to get over Madolche's. Anything to stop those initial effects. None of them are guaranteed. So, next up, Mind Crush. A lot of Boojin players. A lot of people like to use 10 key. Constellars even use 10 key. So, just Mind Crush that shit to the grave. Then I side in 1 Dark Bribe, which is coming out for the second... pardon me. For the second Dust Tornado. And some other things will change, but for the second Dust Tornado, like, let me see here. If I can find this. What I plan on running in my side deck actually will be, in place of the Deep Prisons, will be 2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors. So, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, got to stop those dark effects. It's going to be a light and dark format, guys. It's going to be. Evil Swarm's still out there. Play the deck. It will still be a threat. They have a lot of plays. Don't think just because Ophion can't stop the lower levels and lower ranks and all that from coming out that he's useless. It's all on how you play the deck, guys. I promise you, it's a great engine. You don't always have to make Ophion. There are many rank 4s out there to choose from. Next up, speaking of Ophion and Constellars, Heraldry Record. Really underrated, underutilized, probably unknown card. I don't see how this slipped by the radar when this came out. But it's a counter trap. Excuse me, guys. Like I said, I'm getting over this. It's a counter trap, which means unless they got another counter trap, they're not chaining anything to this. And a lot of people don't know what it is, so they just blindly will walk into stuff like it. I was playing a Dino Stun, Dino Rabbit Stun, whatever you want to call that. They just spam Rabbit and get those rank 4 dinos out. He walked right into this. I just baited him out. He tried to say, I was like, get that shit out of here. He didn't even know what it did. His response was, what the fuck does that do? I told him this just says, fuck you. So I do side in 2 of those. It's gonna be a rank 4 spam fest. You can't beat this. Next up, 2 DD Crows. It's pretty self-explanatory, especially with things like Boojans, Noble Knights, things that have to go to the graveyard and they can come back. This can even affect the mirror match. You can take away their queen targets where queen can't even activate the effect. I know I'm telling you ways to get around this deck. I love this deck to death. I love competition. I've played a few dragon decks with it. I don't know if it's just better than dragons or these were just bad dragon players, but my OTK was faster than them. So, but I keep telling them dragon deck players that I give you diabetes. I give dragon decks diabetes. I'm talking all this shit. Now I'm going to lose to every dragon deck I run into. Once again, thank God that deck is dead. So, but guys, that's it for my Madolche deck. In the next probably few days, maybe a week, I should have my Evil Swarm up. My Evil Swarm 2.0. I'm getting it ready for the next format. I haven't decided. There's a regional coming up down here in the DFW in Texas. In January, I'm going to go to. I'm down in the DFW, of course. So I haven't decided if I want to get my Madolches out, give them a real good test out there, or take my Evil Swarm up there, take 2.0 out there. So I got it. Like I said, guys, I got a few ideas for that. So here in the next week or so, I'll be putting that video up. I want to know what y'all think on that. So please leave your description, comments, and all that below. Let me know what you think about my deck for Madolche's. Give me some ideas, guys. I'm still new to the deck. I'm still learning it. Oh, before I go, guys, I guess I'll just go over the basic guidelines, too, of the OTK that this deck has. I don't know how many people know that the OTK. I've briefly seen some things, I guess, on an OTK involving Ultimate Offering, but that's banned. So, and the new ban list didn't touch us, so they didn't seem to touch any of the decks I play. So you're going to want a Meow. You're going to want Meow in your hand. Mew, whatever you want to call it. Hoot Cake. Hoo-hoo. Hoot Cake. You're going to want... Now, I don't have them. Like I said, I'm waiting on them to arrive. But you're either going to want your Insta-Fusion. I have that. A Spell Striker with a spell in the graveyard. Or you're going to want your TG Warwolf. So we're going to use Spell Striker for the time being. You're going to need 3 monsters for this. And what it is you're going to play Mew, Meow, whatever, special Hoot Cake, and then the Hoot Cake special, you're going to chain your TG Warwolf, or you're going to banish, then special Spell Striker. Then you're going to overlay for your Invoker. Then you're going to detach. You're going to detach your Mew. We're going to hope you have something in the graveyard for Hoot Cake, so we're going to assume you got a hand trap. This isn't a first turn play, because obviously you can't attack first turn. So this is mainly if you're going second, or, it's just going to be a 1-turn kill. So whenever you can get it off. So then you're going to do your Invoker. You're going to do Invoker to bring out your Gelato. He's going to bring him out in defense mode, guys. But he's still going to get his effect because you have a beast out on the field. Let me bring my Invoker out just to help for all intents and purposes. Invoker. So you're an Invoker into Gelato. Gelato's then going to search out for a card. So we're going to bring out our field spell. Then you're going to do Hoot Cake's effect. You're going to banish some monster that you should have in the graveyard by now, aside from your you want to save 1 Madolche card in your graveyard. You need a Madolche card in your graveyard. Can't get around it. Then you're going to special another Gelato, pardon me, with Hoot Cake's effect. Hoot Cake pluses again, or pluses, then Gelato brings out you're going to want Ticket. So now, what you're going to want to do is hope to God that, this is going to work. You're going to bring Ticket out. Okay? So depending on what you have in the graveyard, if it's still a Madolche monster, you want to wait because Chateau is going to return it to your hand, or return to your deck. If not, play Chateau if it's just like a trap or something, or another Chateau or Ticket. Otherwise, wait. You don't need this out yet. This is going to be for when you start attacking. So, if you can get it out first, really, I guess I could have brought this out by doing Hoot Cake or something different, but you don't want to do this if you have them in your grave. You need targets. So, you're going to overlay, once again, you're going to overlay for your, sorry guys, I am trying to keep all this. I have a pretty small workspace here at the moment. Bring out Queen Tiramisu. So, you're going to do your targets, you're going to bounce some shit back, and then you're going to plus off Ticket. Ticket's going to say, well, you have a fairy out, so bring out something. So you're either going to want your Chuck's Valier or another Gelato. I don't have my Chuck's Valier yet. I just got to go grab them. But Gelato for all intents and purposes. So now what's going to happen is, then you're going to play Chateau. You're going to give all this stuff 500 boost. That's 1,500 extra attack. So you're going to hit him for 21, 16, 2,000, and then 27. And then that would be total 2,100 plus 1,600 plus 2,000 plus 27 is 8,400, guys. That's an OTK. That is 1-turn kill right there. So you'll have to play with it. It does take a little bit of practice so you don't fuck things up. Obviously, anybody can fuck shit up. I do it from time to time. So, anyways, guys, this is John and Team RynOke. Like I said, I'll have a few more videos up for y'all in the week. Hopefully, I can get my buddy on here, my teammate. Maybe we can get his opinion on Noble Knights. Me and him just have some Q&A. Or I can get him to put up some of his deck videos. He does some crazy things sometimes. So, take it easy.